as we've acquired companies within our portfolio, I have the unenviable distinction of managing roughly 40,000 AWS accounts. Okay? And if anyone's managed any number of our AWS accounts, you know that that number is absolutely insane. And a few years ago, we were in a situation where our cloud costs were going completely out of control. Okay? We didn't know how to manage them, and that too across 40,000 AWS accounts. We had two sets of challenges. Okay? And tell me if you relate to these. The first one was, again, back to the framework that I just told you about a little while ago. I do not like to own code. So we did not want to build any tools. The first thing we did was we started looking out for any tool out there that could help us manage costs. Okay? Tons of amazing tools in the marketplace. But so we put together a SWAT team, started going after all of those savings. A year later, we made zero progress. Okay, it was an unmitigated disaster in trying to reduce costs. Our costs just went up significantly during that period. So the learnings from that entire year of pain was, number one, almost every tool out there was trying to give us a bunch of insights based on what our spend was and what our potential savings would be. There were no real savings. Everything that they told us about in terms of recommendations ended up being things that we had to go solve ourselves. Okay? So most of these tools weren't really helpful in saving us any money. Second, a lot of these savings that were being recommended by these tools required some major surgery on our applications and our infrastructure. Okay? And the biggest hurdle that I had there was our own teams. Our own dev teams would not allow me to make any of these changes. They'd put their hand up and say, are you taking responsibility in case there's any downtime? They literally put it back at me. Okay? And they absolutely refused to make any changes that A, they didn't understand, or B, that they thought might be disruptive, even in the slightest measure. Okay? So fighting that became incredibly hard. And then this whole situation wasn't helped by two other factors. The first one was that AWS was doing a brilliant job of creating new services constantly. The barrage of 50 new announcements every week was awesome from their standpoint, but we were miserable trying to keep up with all of that entire fire hose of announcements that were coming in. By the way, they haven't relented, and that's a good thing. So they continue to do a great job of creating new services and announcements. The other problem with a lot of these tools also was that the tools were trying to cover all of these services and give you all these insights, which basically meant that these tools required a PhD in AWS services to even just navigate them. Okay? And they were doing nothing to fix the cost issue. They were just giving you insights, or supposed insights. The second issue with that whole scenario, actually, no, that was the biggest issue. You just needed a PhD. You didn't know how to navigate. Okay, so our first approach was, why don't we go after the biggest areas of spend? I mean, obviously that's the biggest bang for the buck, right? But what we realized very soon was that was not where the largest savings opportunity